Yeah, and it took us a little while to get over, the end of the Cubs season. It ended so abruptly.
It did.
How are we going to make sure this doesn't happen ever again?
Well, first of all, the Cubs did make it to postseason for 4 years in a row, and that's something to be said. That's not that easy to do.
Yeah.
But they gave themselves a shot. They just came up a little bit short. Just staying healthy, I think, is the biggest thing for me this offseason. Now, I'm not sure what the front office is thinking about because they might have a whole different plan. But as far as the roster last year, when they broke camp at spring training, it was set to get to the World Series once again. They had some injuries at some key positions. They really just didn't take off as a group and separate themselves from the Brewers. The Brewers got hot at the right time and stole it at the end. But I look forward to just seeing what the Cubs have up their sleeve, and they seem to have usually something up their sleeve.
Yeah.
But if nothing else, they have a very good group to come back in 19. So
and Javi Baez may be the MVP.
Yeah, I love Javi Baez. Yeah, hopefully he'll have a good shot at the MVP. For me, he was really the first half key player for the Cubs being in first place. He was the hottest bat for the first 2 months of the season and kept it all the way through. I believe he just got robbed of a Gold Glove in my book. He's a Gold Glover at any position, and I think they need to come up with a multi-purpose player in today's game to win a Gold Glove. This year, he'd have been a runaway candidate for that.
Yeah, you have 9 of those, right?
I do.
9 of them. Where do you keep those things?
I keep them in a good spot.
Good spot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll show you sometime. But, yeah.
All right.
But, defense was a big part of my game. And,
it sure was. I was going to say Javi in his prime, Ryno in his prime. How do they match up?
Javi, a little bit more flashy than me.
Yeah, well,
Hall of Fame. To watch. You know what? He's very entertaining. I love to watch him. And I really try and keep my eye on him when his at-bat's coming up, or just to watch him in the field. I make sure I know where he's at because the ball seems to find him.
Yeah.
And he seems to do the right thing in a split of a second that baseball comes at him, and he's a terrific player.
Yeah, and we're going to get into while you're here, but I got to ask one more question. As a Hall of Famer, great player, a former manager, do players now come up to you and say, hey, what am I doing wrong, or can you help me with my swing, or does anybody ever ask you for advice when they're in a slump?
As an ambassador, I think I'm more of a sounding board or maybe a conversation about other things, it seems like to me, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Major league players, they have their coaches, which are top-notch, and the Cubs have some of the best. So
yeah.
I think they have that feel. When I'm around the ballpark, whether it's spring training or just during the summer at Wrigley Field, I think I get more of a at-ease conversation, and I think it's my job to give them a little boost of confidence. Hey, you guys, you're doing great. But as far as technical things, they have coaches for that. I don't want to mix with that too much.
Right. Well, we got a Bourbon coach with us here today. This is Fred. No,
one of the best right here.
This guy is I would put you in the Hall of Fame of Bourbon because you are actually the great grandson of the Jim Beam.
That's correct.
That's unbelievable. That means so if I cut you open, you bleed bourbon.
Maybe. On a good morning, maybe. There's a good chance. Because of how much I hang out with him the night before. Let's see.
What makes such a great bourbon, Fred?
A lot of it is the ingredients. The water, the limestone water from Kentucky, the grain, the corn, putting it in the barrel, letting it age is, I think, what makes a great bourbon.
Yeah. And there's a certain way to drink it. Can you show us how to do that?
Yeah, my dad had a way of drinking it called the Kentucky Chew.
Okay.
Because, different parts of your mouth pick up different flavors in the bourbon.
All right.
So you just kind of put it in your mouth, switch it around, and chew on it.
All right, Ryno, are we doing this together?
Let's do it. Yeah, we are.
Here we go.
Wait, what time is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're good.
We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
We're good. All right, here we go. How do we do this? Just put it in your mouth. Whoa. Whoa.
Ah, boy.
My eyes are watering.
It's smooth, though. Hey, that's smooth.
Good luck to me for the rest of the show.
Ah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Tell us about this event, the Bourbon Legends Boxcar Tour. Oh, what is that?
It's the next 2 nights. I'm looking forward to it myself. Fred has more of the details on what it is, but I'm looking forward to it. Can't ask for a better venue than on the field.
On Wrigley Field. Yeah, tell us about this. The event is free?
Right. You have to go to bourbonboxcar.com to get the access code. And when you get the access code, you'll be admitted when you show up. But it's going to be it's an inner city where we're taking this around to different cities. And you're going to get all kinds of different sensory. You see about the water, the wood, the grain, actually experience some bourbon. I'll be there. You can talk to me about bourbon, any question you have, take pictures, interact, food. It's going to be fun.
This thing is going to be a huge event, and it's
out on
absolutely
Wrigley
free. You
Field.
just got to
It's cool.
register to do it on Wrigley Field. Yeah, the Bourbon Legends Boxcar Tour. I'm feeling fine. Don't worry about me. It's tonight and tomorrow at Wrigley Field. To reserve your spot, head to bourbonboxcar.com. And hey, get out your numbers right now. Rhino's picking one. Somebody is going home with VIP tickets to the events.
Oh, nice.
Who's it going to be, Rhino? Number 24. There you go. Congratulations. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Rhino.
You're welcome.
Ryan.